So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rupesh. I'm the head BD India for the Association of Proposal Management Professionals, APMP. And it's my pleasure to welcome you all to the APMP India monthly webinar series. Today, we are pleased to present the topic APMP Foundation Certification. Is it really worth it? I mean, this is an amazing topic I've been looking forward to, and many of APMP non-members, members, they're all looking forward to it. So before I turn things over to our webinar moderator, Mrs. Ashish Bhatia, who is APMP India Governing Board member, know that today's session is also being recorded. A link to the recording will be emailed to all registrants a few hours after the presentation is over. We'll also go live on YouTube. Throughout today's presentation, you are welcome to submit questions as you think of them. So please check out the Zoom control panel. We will find the questions pane. You can type your questions there at any time during the presentation. We'll address them towards at the end of the program. So I think we're ready to go now. So I'll turn things over to Ashish. Over to you.
Thanks, Rupesh, and hi, everyone. Greetings of the day wherever you are all located. As Rupesh mentioned, it's truly a very exciting topic that we all wanted to get into for quite some time. It's great that we have three panelists out here for this discussion today. All of these panelists have given their APMP Foundation certification in the last 1 to 22 or 24 months. So they're pretty fresh off the experience of giving this particular exam. We will be discussing with them what are their motivations to go for this particular certification, what are the challenges that they face, how they overcame them, and what are the benefits that they have seen from this particular certification, right? We will divide this particular 60 minutes into 4 sections overall. The first section will be the introduction session, in which I will request each of the panelists to quickly introduce themselves, give a brief description about their background. Then in the second section, I will be asking them specific questions about their APMP Foundation examination or certification journey itself. As I mentioned, what are the challenges, how they overcame them, and how it has benefited them. In the third section, I would ask them some specific questions about their roles and the impact of the certification on their roles itself. And the fourth section, we will have an open Q&A from the audience, where we will pick up questions that are there in the Zoom chat, where Rupesh, who is also supporting us on this particular webinar, would help us call out those questions, and we will go through those questions with the panelists and try to provide the answers to the best of our abilities, right? So as we get started, I'll quickly introduce myself before I turn it over to the rest of the team. My name is Ashish Bhatia. I'm based out of Bangalore. I have close to over 2 decades of experience in the pre-sales proposal management function itself, and have carried out quite a few different roles in various organizations on the IT side, especially Accenture, Wipro, and currently I am associated with DXC Technologies. With that being said, I will hand it over to Shanti first. After that, we'll go with Samvedna, and after that, we'll go with Bennett for the quick introductions as well. Thank you. Shanti, all yours.
Good evening. First and foremost, thank you for inviting me for this webinar. So I'm Shanti Pereira, located in Sri Lanka. So I'm working as a bid manager for a leading ICT company called Just in Time Group. And I have over a decade of experience in proposal and bid management and various sectors such as the government to telco to and banking sector. I handle large bids. So that's a briefing about myself. Over to you, Bennett.
Thanks, Shanti. Yeah. Yes, Samvedna, could you kindly go next?
Hello, everyone. This is Samvedna Sibal. Very good afternoon to one and all. I have been into the bid and proposal management field from past 11 years or so. By qualification, I'm a NCA, but quickly I realized that coding and testing is not my cup of tea. And as most of us, I came into this field by accident. And quickly I realized its utmost importance to the growth of a company. Hence, I decided to shift my gears into this field. And I'm proud to say that I've worked with some of the finest firms in the IT industry, and I'm still going strong. Thank you so much, Ashish and APMP India, for inviting me to be a part of this amazing webinar.
Thanks, Avedna. Bennett, over to you.
Hi, once again, good afternoon and good evening, and thank you for your time and joining in. And this is Bennett over here. I have around 12 years of experience, in which 10 years I'm with APMP. So I handle most of the projects from the US side, most of the proposals from the US side. So I completed my engineering in electronics and telecommunication, followed by my MBA in marketing and finance. So after that, I landed up in on a company selling telepresence solutions before joining AT&T. I was an account manager or sales manager over there. Then last 10 years, I'm with AT&T, and over here, I completed my APMP certification in 2019, and followed by my CCNA certification in 2020. So this gives me the leverage of handling the networking technical RFPs as well as the function side of the business. So that's how I've been over here. Thank you all. We'll have a wonderful time. Maybe next 1 hour. It's going to be really interesting. And thank you. Over to you, Ashish.
Sure. Thanks, everyone, for those words of introduction. I'll start off with the second section of this particular webinar, as we discussed earlier, where I will go through each of the panelists and ask them a couple of questions about their journey on the APMP Foundation certification itself. And some of these questions would be repeated across the three panelists, but it is essential to give you all a flavor of the different perspectives that each one of them comes in with for this particular certification and how it has helped them. So why don't we do this? We'll start with Bennett for this particular section. And I'll ask him a couple of questions. He did mention the fact that he has a good experience around telecommunications, which also indicates that he is part of the bid and proposal management community within his organization who responds to technology or technical proposals as well. So Bennett, what is the specific role, if you could just elaborate on it for a couple of minutes or maybe a minute itself? And why did you decide, or what was the motivation for you to take up this particular certification? And then we'll go ahead from there.
Yeah, thanks, Ashish. So to answer that one, I'll divide into two things. First of all, why I took up the certification is like I was in AT&T, and one of the founders of our organization, Mr. Neil Kopp, he was one of the ones who wrote the APMP book of knowledge, the BOK book. So he was part of that panel, and he came up with all the things, and with the same set of strategies, with the same set of framework, AT&T's proposal center was also balanced or framed with that. So when I came over here, I didn't have any knowledge why these tools are there, why we have a common tool across all, and I was a little bit confused with that. But after doing the certification, this really helped me to discover why even a small review is conducted. For example, all of us have come across color reviews. So why should we have a color review? So these are the questions which was in my mind. So this certification really helped me to discover why certain tools are there, why we have to do executive summary, why we have to work on a lot of other tools, and why we need different tools to work on it, or why we need a database to put up the responses into it. So these are the things which APMP certification helped me to answer. As a professional, as Ashish asked about how do I handle technical part of the proposals also. As you know that AT&T is a telecommunication organization which deals with a lot of networking products, be it security, be it VPN, wireless, voice, you name it, they handle it over here. So without a technical background, it is very difficult to respond to some of the technical part of the RFP. So earlier, what happens is we give it to a technical team. So we respond to the common ones which are in the database. And when it comes to a technical one, we give it to a technical sales consultant or some other people who are into it to respond to that part of the RFP. So being in a call where a lot of stakeholders are there, from the legal team, from the pricing team, from the technical as well as the proposal management side. Before doing my APMP certification, I was just concentrating only on the functional side of the business. But after doing my CCNA, I was able to understand why a technical response is important. So when a technical sales consultant gives a response, I will be able to fine tune it or see how we can put it over there. So these are the things which help me to be a hybrid person. So in short, I want to say that roles are like coming up where proposal manager role might be expected to do a technical role also, a technical person might even be asked to do a proposal management role also. So that's how the future is going to be. So it's always good to learn about technology because that's where everywhere we tend to go. So that's how it has helped me with this one. Over to you, Ashish.
Absolutely, Bennett. So it's a great point you bring up there because we are seeing more and more proposal and bid managers who are being asked to go either deep or wide within their organizations. And we are specifically looking at organizations looking at more and more people who have certain domain knowledge in addition to having a strong bid and proposal management experience as well. So definitely having that experience, as you mentioned, on telecommunications or networking in your aspect, combined with the APMP certification really would go a long way. So thanks for giving us that insight. I'll quickly turn to Shanti next, if that's okay. So Shanti has a unique distinction as well for the APMP Foundation Certification. I won't mention it. I'll request her to mention it as well. Along with the fact of what was her motivation really to take up this particular certification, because as you would see in her case, it was pretty unique. So Shanti, over to you.
Yes, Ashish, thank you. So talking about what made me to go for this certification was because I was doing the handling the bids. So, but basically we were just practicing our methods, but I just wanted to know, like, to enhance my knowledge and the best practices. So then I was searching a certification, which I wanted to get qualified. Then only I just came across to this APMP certification. Then I just went through the modules which is covering and was really interested for me to pursue for this certification. Then when I was doing it, so basically like we were at when we are writing the executive summaries, then there are standards to follow in guidelines are given in the APMP guidelines. So this was really helped me. Other than that, the lesson learned methods, then how you can make the formatting, everything was helpful for me to got this certification.
But you forgot to mention one point about your certification, and not just the motivation, but how did you find out about this, and how did you come about doing this in the location that you are?
Because I just searched through the website, then only I just got to know about it. Then I wrote to APMP and got more information whether to, because I did my certification by self-study, so just got the methods which are the ways I should follow. So that's how I got it certified, Ashish.
All right, wonderful. Thanks for that, Shanti. I'll quickly turn over to Samvedna as well to understand her background a little bit more in the role that she's been doing currently, and also her previous roles as well, which has led up to this particular position where she is, and also her motivation for doing the certification.
Yeah. So when it comes to motivation, I have been planning this from 2016 or 17. and I've been motivated since then. It's surprising, and but it was long overdue, and but life happened, and then my beautiful daughter happened, and then I could just only do it a few months back. And I'm always a person who is looking for something or the other to do, and this is the main reason that I did my 2 post graduations simultaneously. I mean, of course, one was part-time and the other was full-time. So when it came to my field of working, I had to do something that would take me a notch up amongst my peers, and hence I decided to take up the APMP Certified Foundation exam. If I talk about my previous years, I had been very active in my Pune chapter, APMP Pune chapter. I had met few leaders like the likes of KK many years back in one of the Pune chapters, and I had been following APMP since many years. It's just that I was not able to do the exam. So I had been really motivated, and one fine day, I was not well that day. I was on leave. My entire family was not well, but I just decided to use that leave. I got up in the morning. I told my husband, let's just shut the door off, and I'm going to give my exam. And I just utilized my leaves and I gave the exam, and I passed it. And you think that things are not happening from so many years, and they suddenly happen. They happen in a jiffy, and when they happen, you realize that nothing has happened actually. So this was about my a little bit about my background, my motivation, and I've always been into this field. I have experience through various industries and various technologies as well, various geographies as well. So I have experience cutting across all the geographies, technologies, and industries. So this is a little bit about me.
Sure. Samvedna, so let's do a little bit of double click on the answer that you gave. So you said that you were motivated or thinking about it to give the examination since 2016, and you ended up giving it in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, right? So it's between close to 5 years that you really took on this particular journey. But now coming down to the specific of the examination itself or the certification itself, how long did you really take to prepare for the certification itself? And when did you give the exam, and what were some of the specifics around giving the exam itself? Where did you give it? If you could throw some light on it.
Yes. Okay, I'll tell you specific figures. If you start reading today for half an hour to 1 hour every day, after 5 to 6 weeks, you'll be able to give your exam. So these are the calculations. You start today, consistently give half an hour to 45 minutes to 1 hour every day to the BOK that is available on APMP website. 5 to 6 weeks down the line, you'll be able to give the exam. You have to study the BOK at least once or twice. I suffer from OCD. So I studied it twice from beginning to the end and once from end to the beginning. And then there's just one mock test available. I gave that mock test, thrice or, 4 times. And I actually passed in all of those mock tests. And so 5th week or 6th week, from the day of, preparation, actual preparation. So as I said, Ashish, I've been wanting to do this since so many years. And I that time also I had this, spiral binding or, hard copy of the book. I still have it, and I'm those old school types who used to underline the, content and read it. But this time I did not do it. I read it online, and hence I could give the exam and successfully passed it.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you're talking about, if I understand correctly, around 45 days to 60 days of consistent effort of around 1 hour.
Yes, definitely.
Per day should see us through, right? Are there any prerequisites that you see for this particular exam?
Prerequisites are, of course, I mean, you have to know what you're doing, right? You just cannot jump in on the APMP BOK and start reading it and give the exam. Whatever you are reading, you have to relate with what the work you are doing. So at least, in fact, APMP CF exam also has a prerequisite of, working into this field for at least 2 to 3 years, if I'm not mistaken. So that is a prerequisite. If APMP has said that prerequisite, there must be some reason behind it. You need to relate what you are reading to the work which you are actually doing, and take a notch up after, being certified, because there is where you take yourself and your deliverables to a particular standard.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Samvedna. Bennett, has that been your experience as well, the amount of preparation that is required, or was it very different in your case? When did you think about giving this and when did you end up giving it?
Yeah, I will agree with Samvedna on that because that's a very well calculated one. Because same with you, I did in 2019. As she rightly mentioned that you need to do it daily. The moment you decide to do your certification, you cannot take a break. So I would say it will take 4 weeks. You have to read the book at least twice. So in a month, if if you're able to complete the entire book at least once, then you can do it. Another 2 weeks, you can do a fast, a quick run through of it. So it at least takes 6 weeks to do it. And we need to be in the proposal side of the business for at least 2 to 3 years to understand the terms which is mentioned over there. Else it will be like Greek and Latin for us to understand. So that's how it goes. And before the exam, what I did was I took a week off. Completely, I was into it, day in and day out. I just did, I don't know how many chapters I've finished in a day. I was able to do that. One recommendation, what I would give to people out over there is like, it is always better to do it in a group. If you find another person or a group of people in your organization who are like-minded and who want to take up the certification, so you can group up with them. Because one reason is like you can every day when you do a chapter, you can revise with another person. You would have understood one point, and another person would have understood another one. So you could have missed, and it helps to. It's back to the school study days, or combined study days, what we used to call it once upon a time. So back to schools. So it is always better to do like in a group or something like that. And the BOK is absolutely more than enough to clear. Self-study is more than enough to clear the exams. Of course, if you can take up some mock tests which are available out there from good ATOs, so you can get it from them and do it. So I would rather say that at least it will take 6 months to finish off this course, and at least half an hour, 30 minutes to 1 hour per day is a mandate for this one. The minute you decide, you have to start reading it, and if you stop it, you have to again start from the first because you will miss the flow. That's how it goes.
Great. Obviously, I'll turn over to Shanti next for her experience of when did she decide to really take up this certification? How long did you have to study? And Shanti, if you could also throw some light on the logistics of giving the examination itself, your experience, how did you prepare for the particular day of the examination, and how did you give it? So if you could throw some additional light on it during the end of your answer, that would be great as well.
Thank you, Ashish. I also started to prepare for this exam in 2019, I would say, but due to like some family commitments, so it was like dragging. So I just actually focused on the exam, I would say in last November. Actually, it took me 2 to 3 months to get self-study. So I also used the APMP study guide continuously. So daily 1 hour I allocated for my studies, and other than that, the mock exams I tried a couple of times. Also, I just did like some important key points. I did the short notes and the mind mapping to remember the some of the definitions. So that are the techniques I used. But I think if you allocate 2 to 3 months, you will be definitely be able to get through this certification. And I did the exam also through online. So I just this thing, and I just did it. It took just 1 hour, and I just got through it.
All right, so that's wonderful. So what we are hearing consistently is around 2 months, plus or minus a couple of weeks here and there, depending upon commitments, right? Obviously, we are all doing our jobs as well, plus we have our family commitments. But if you're looking at someone who is a few years experienced into the bid and proposal management role, he or she would really take a couple of months, register as an APMP member, understand, study the book of knowledge, and appear for the examination. The other great takeaway points were the fact that do it consistently, don't take a break, probably do it in groups as well. And as Shanti also mentioned, prepare some notes like mind maps, etc., to learn the definitions, which would really help on the day of the examination as well. So thanks everybody for those great answers. We'll also, towards the end, take up some advice from all of you, from aspiring candidates as well. But Samvedna, I'll just turn towards you. From post your giving the examination, I believe you've given it around 8 months back, if I'm not mistaken, approximately. Right. So as part of your profile, you usually handle large global RFPs, right? And these could be across technologies, if I'm not mistaken, and across verticals as well in many cases. So how has the foundation certification changed or impacted your perspective towards large deal management?
Thank you, Ashish, for bringing this up. It has been stressful, few months. I mean, if I would be precise, from past October until March, it has been quite stressful, and all because, thanks to the large deals that have come across me. Large deal management is no easy task, and, it gets stressful day by day. And your entire schedule, rotates as per the calls and the deadlines. And, to be honest and candid, your child's schedule also changes as per, the calls. This is my very recent, experience. So hence I'm bringing this up. The bid gets submitted anyway, but how it gets submitted, is a question that everyone should ask themselves after every submission. The how part is very important. Come what may, the bid will get submitted on the day of submission. It has happened that it has not, been submitted. When it comes to, my fulfillment of large bids after passing my APMP exam, I try to incorporate few things in my own small way. It's a big world of large deals and APMP content. But in my own small way, I try to incorporate the BOK's advice and instructions, as small as, changing a heading of a section of a proposal or to something catchy, then just saying, our solution or our proposition. There are actual real-time examples given in APMP BOK of how you should present those sections in your, presentation or document. This is actually a habit that you can actually, quickly develop. This is very quick things I'm telling you. Then stakeholder management is one big task where I try to implement what the BOK says. It's not easy to handle people and their, moods and their even color priorities. I mean, some guy would just not like particular color in a, PPT. And I'm more confident in writing executive summaries. And actually, I can actually enforce my thoughts now that I'm APMP certified. I can confidently enforce my thoughts on the big team on what is right and what is not right. Okay, and what is accepted in the proposal market and what is not accepted, what the client will like and what the client might not like. I can enforce my thoughts confidently only after giving this exam, because I am in that position to say that what I'm saying is right and the correct practice.
Awesome. Thanks, Samvedna, for that. So it's really good to see the practical impact of the certification on real life, because many a times there are lots of certifications out there which are available, which have pretty much no or little impact on the day-to-day activities that a person does. Now, not necessarily in the bid and proposal management community itself. It could be on the technology side of the world as well. There are many people who take up certifications, but to practically implement the learnings from the certifications, that's the tough part about it. So good that you're finding that space there. Shanti, I'll turn it over to you for a couple of minutes. There's one particular question also which has come up in the chat section, which might be relevant for you to answer. So Bennett just mentioned a few minutes back that it's nice to do or study in a group which will really motivate someone to stick to the schedule and be able to complete the certification without a break. But Shanti, if I'm not mistaken, you're the first person, at least from the knowledge that we have in Sri Lanka, to really give this certification itself. So kudos to you for doing that. Congratulations. So obviously you really wouldn't have had the luxury of having a peer group or somebody to study along with you, if I'm not mistaken. So how did you motivate yourself to give this particular examination? Just wanted to bring out the fact that perhaps people, whereas groups would help them, it's not necessary that there has to be a particular group. There are obviously other avenues one could turn to as well. So Shanti, what's your experience around that?
Yes, thank you, Ashish. So I was when I start searching for this certification, and I just want to, like, here in Sri Lanka, there was no one to ask about it. So then I think there was a LinkedIn platform was really helpful, because when I saw that some of the people got certified, and then I got the guidelines from them, like what are the techniques I should follow, then how I can get the study in the studies also, studying also. I got some techniques. So that is how I got the information from the other people as well.
Yeah, Shanti, we can hear you. Please continue.
Yes, that was the important points I got from that, Ashish.
So great point that you bring up, that it may not be necessary that there has to be a peer who would be able to study along with you, but there are other support communities, one of them being LinkedIn. Obviously, you can turn to any of the APMP existing members who have given either their certifications or even senior members who are part of the governing board, etc. You could find some mentors who could motivate you. So good point there, Shanti. Thanks for that. Bennett, how about you? How has your certification really impacted your work on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, Ashish, what you said that, I mean, regarding the certification one, see, in my case, what happened is I did little before this pandemic and all those things hit in. So it was in 2019. So there was something, a very particular topic in our syllabus, which a lot of people would have come across on this automation tools and all those stuff. Back in 2019, nobody in the proposal management side spoke about automation, AI, and all those things coming in. But this APMP certification gave me a bird's eye view, or a slight overview on what is going to be the future in. So in 2021 and all those things, when AI came into proposals, when a lot of organizations started adapting it, when even in one of my organization meetings and all those things, I was able to talk about the toolings which are coming up over here. So some of the automated tools when out in the market, how that will help on our proposal management side. So this certification helped me to get some knowledge about what is going to be the future. And so that's one thing. Second one is like lot of regarding the knowledge management side of the certification. So for example, a lot of us, we use a lot of tools on working on it. But if you take when you consider the knowledge management side, which is a very small topic in our certification, but that's the future of it. Why I say that is, like, you get a content, you have to keep the content fresh. So for example, you work on RFP today, and a particular technical person or anybody in the market, I mean, anybody in the organization, they put a response, and you can reap that content and put it in some other place where when the future RFPs, when we respond to it, we can use the same content. So this, if you take AT&T's case, like, we have a rigid, rigorous process in this knowledge management side. So we have an entire team working on it. So we keep the content fresh. So this is developed on the APMP certification framework. So what happens is, in future, when we work on any RFPs, we are able to easily pick up the updated responses from the tool, and we put down over there. So, and the other team on the same side who have also done their APMP certification, they know the importance of having a good knowledge database. So they build it. So they build it, they update the responses, they approach different stakeholders, different teams, and keep the content fresh, so that in future we'll be able to pick it up. And So these are my 2 points. Like, it's very helpful when you want to keep the content fresh. Another one is the tooling, which is the future of RFP and future of proposal business. So because a lot of people fear that the moment AI comes in, okay, this might steal my job. So Ashish, in one of the previous webinars, you mentioned that, oh, then copy paste is not going to be there. So that's the bread and butter of us. So it's not going to be there. So what this one does is like it. I would rather say it beautifies copy paste. So in a better way. So we can add some cosmetics to it. The tool does some magic behind, and we are able to give a better content to our stakeholders, and we all produce a winning proposal.
Yeah. No, I absolutely remember that point, and thanks, Bennett, for bringing it up. It just wanted to bring up that point in that particular webinar, that everybody associates bid and proposal management with just copy paste. The fact is that it is much, much more beyond that. Obviously, not getting into the details or that particular topic, AI would affect us, our function as well, like it would affect any other function further down the line. But to say that ours is an easily replaceable function, which is more mechanical or repeatable in nature, I wouldn't agree on that. I have my own apprehensions, my own point of view on that one, because there's a lot more that goes behind a bid than just copy paste. If so, then we already wouldn't be in business, right? Because copy paste was, I don't know, invented how many decades back itself. But all right, with that being said, one more question going out to you, Samvedna. Right, as I understand, and we were discussing that you manage large bids. There's also one more aspect on the large bid side of it, which is the commercial aspect of bid management, right? The entire pricing, the financials. How has the certification helped you, or has it helped you in that aspect as well?
Yes, the answer would be yes, Ashish, definitely. I mean, it's end-to-end bid management that the APMP CF exam has helped me, and commercials, they are a big part of this end-to-end bid management. I mean, without commercials, there's actually no proposal, right? So definitely it has helped me to know to and imagine what goes on behind that just a number that is given to a client. So there are various pricing models we have in organizations at T&M. There's fixed price. So you need to know the mechanics, and you need to understand what goes behind that number that comes on just one slide. That's just a summary of the pricing thing. That one number, there's so much going on behind bringing about that number on the slide. So reading diving deep into the APMP topics has really helped me understand what goes on where. What role does the solution architect play? What role does the account manager play? What role does the bid manager play? What role does other teams, technology teams, owners, they play? And then comes out that one particular number that we are talking about.
Absolutely. So Samvedna, in fact, you brought up a particular point which could yield itself to an entire webinar in itself, of the different roles that are played by different people in the entire sales cycle itself. So probably for some other day, Rupesh, we might want to take that up. But it's good to see the impact that you have on the understanding around the commercials itself, right? Shanti, could I turn to you for a couple of minutes and ask you a particular question? And
yes,
this has also come up in the chat window as well. If you could throw some light on it during your answer, it would be great. One of the questions that is being asked in the chat window is around the benefits of a PMP certifications versus an APMP certification. So would that be something you could throw light on from your experience, especially in Sri Lanka?
Yes, I would say, because it's APMP is dedicated to the proposal management. So definitely the bid management, definitely I will be suggesting to go with the APMP certification. This PMP is dedicated to the project managers, and this particular certification is dedicated to proposal managers, which you can get more knowledge on your job role. So it's recommended to go with the APMP certification, Ashish.
All right, wonderful. I think that's the absolute perfect answer. I think Adarsh had called it out. So Adarsh, the point is it depends upon what role you're playing currently within your organization and what is the career path that you set out for yourself. As Shanti rightly mentioned, APMP and PMP are completely different certifications. One is on the proposal management side of the world and the other one is on the project management side of the world. Both are completely different. Obviously, they lend themselves to each other because if a proposal manager has a good project management background, then it really lends itself to the role. But a project manager, would he or she really need the proposal manager management kind of a background? Depends upon the role that he or she is carrying out, right? So it is very person specific, but just to sum it up, Adarsh, it depends upon the career path and the role that you are playing and you would want to play down the line as well. Bennett, there has been a question which has been asked specific to you, since you mentioned some things around automation. I think there's a question which has once again come in from Adarsh of some names of softwares like Power Apps or others, as you said. I don't remember if you mentioned specifically around Power Apps, but I think the question is more related to automation, where how automation really lends itself to this particular role. So if you could just throw some insights there.
Yeah, sure, Ashish. Like Adarsh, there are a lot of software in the market, but what I have come across is like this RFPO tool, Lupio tool, and QVDN. So these are some of the tools which are up in the market. So everything has its own advantages and disadvantages. So based on your organization's need, what are the softwares which you are currently using, whether which one will be better to integrate with that one, so you can go for it. So all these companies, they offer a demo. So you can go to their website and register. So they'll call you up and explain to you about these tools. These are some of the tools like QVDN, RFPO, and Lupio. So these are topmost tools for the proposal side of the business. So this will, based on your organization's need, you can go for it.
Sure. Thanks for that, Bennett. Pretty much something that may become standard as we go along in the future as well. Bennett, if I'm not mistaken, you also respond to government-based proposals. Is that understanding correct? I think all the three of you all do that. So once again, any specifics of the APMP Foundation certificates towards government or public sector RFPs that you see in specific, or it's like any other enterprise deal?
When you take a government proposal, it will have a lot of standard terms and conditions, because they concentrate more on the technological side. So they know that you are the best. That's the reason they came in. So they are more on the SLA part of it, or the terms. What if we don't comply to it? So for example, Air India has got this FirstNet, which is for all the first responders over there in the US. So if there is an emergency or something, you can call. So all these calls will be routed through AT&T's network. So the concentration is more on the terms and conditions of it. So that's my experience, not on the technical part. It's on the T&Cs of it.
Absolutely. Shanti, I've seen that your profile really lends to the fact that you respond to both national as well as international RFPs, government as well as enterprise, right? So that's a really broad portfolio that you cover. So given the fact that you do that, how does the effect of the certificate you just mentioned, you gave it a couple of months back, but really affect on, especially on the government part of the RFPs that you manage?
Yes, Ashish, now in Sri Lanka, when we are talking about the government tenders, it's more complex. Like they're asking like so many details to like functional requirements to non-financial requirements. So there are a lot of documentation to do, like for certain forms. Then even the eligibility criteria, maybe like sometimes you have to go with the JV partners, maybe the consortium, you have to bid as a consortium. So a lot of things to do. So this actually in this APMP certification, everything was talk about it, like how the standards and all. So it's really been helpful helpful for me to enhance my knowledge to a quality, even more to give a quality bit, which is proposing to the clients. So that is how it has been, this APMP certification has been helpful for me to enhance my knowledge and the quality of the bids to the government sector proposals.
All right. Well, that's wonderful, Shanti. I think that really applies to pretty much each and every country government RFPs that we work upon, long and tough and complex. So that really sums it up, and glad to see that the certification has had a positive impact there. Samvedna, won't really ask you about government proposals, but if you would want to throw light there as well. But on a related note, I believe you also manage a team as well, and obviously you'll be part of a larger team. So how is the support from your particular organization towards giving this particular certification? Is it recognized by your organization? Are they encouraging people to take it up within you and your peer group or your reportees as well?
Ashish, coming to my organization, it has been, a very good organization. It has supported. I mean, this is why the reason, I just joined and, gave the exam. My managers and my bosses and my teammates, organization itself, they have been very, very supportive of, giving this examination. In fact, I could, openly say that I'm preparing for this exam, and I need some time. And I mean, this liberty, not many organizations give to their employees, and this liberty, my organization has given it to me, and in fact, all the newcomers as well. This is one of the priorities, actually. The first half of the year and second half of the year, this is a big priority for everyone to get certified, at least the certified foundation, because the next levels are quite tough. And a lot of efforts go into that. So, but at least the certified foundation exam, we are expected to do, we are motivated to do, we are enabled to, give this exam, and whatever it takes to, give it and pass it, we are being taken care of that from the organization.
That's wonderful to know. Bennett, I'll turn it over to you for your experience of giving the examination itself, and how's the overall background of how you did it?
Yeah, actually, I was the first one to take up from India on this one, and leadership really, they agreed with it, and they were just encouraging, do you want to go for it? They approved all my trainings, and they approved my certification course and all those things. So right from the first to the end, so they helped a lot. My entire leadership, they helped a lot in nurturing and giving me some time to prepare for it, because I need at least a month or more than a month to prepare. So they always gave me the time, and they supported me. I mean, they approved my trainings and my certifications. I was able to do that.
Awesome. One question I probably would have, I don't recall if I really asked you during the initial part of the webinar, Bennett, but when we talked about preparation for the particular certification itself, I remember Samvedna giving that response, but wanted to understand from you, did you also give the mock exams, and how many mock exams did you really take up?
Yeah, I also prefer to take up a mock exam, because that will tell you where you really stand. So whether you will be able to clear. There are 75 questions in the real exam, and we have to get around 52 or something like that to pass this exam. So this mock exam will help you to find out where do you really stand. Are you ready? Or maybe some would have cleared even after doing one round of study. Some might have to do 2 rounds of it. So this is like a benchmark. So if you're still not able to clear up, you have to do one more round of study on the POK and then take up a mock test. And yes, you have to go for a mock. I would rather prefer to go up with a mock test. In APMP's website as well, there are a set of standard questions, sample questions, which is available for free. Or there are a lot of other training organizations which are authorized by APMP. So we can pick up from there, and they'll help us and guide us with a mock test. And again, at the same time, we all should always prepare. And this mock test is like a benchmark. Tells you, okay, this is the time you can go ahead with an exam and come back successfully.
Awesome. So good. We are approaching the 50-minute mark. We'll just probably take up a couple of more questions. Rupesh, let me know if there are any questions which have been unanswered in the chat window. I'm also keeping an eye there, but I believe we pretty much covered it all in the chat window itself. But Shanti, turning it over to you from an organization perspective, since you were pretty much the first person from your country to really take up this examination, how was your organization? Were they supportive, or you really had to educate them around what this certification is and the value behind it?
Yes, actually, to be talking about it, actually, my organization also very supportive. Yeah, because they wanted to have a real big team, so that's why always encouraging to get it certified. So that's the main reason I just start searching about the course also. So definitely, just a time group was helpful for me to get this certification done.
Awesome. So Shanti, there's one more question which has come in from the chat window. I'll turn it over to you while we pretty much all know the answer, but since it's been asked in the chat window, the question is around the validity of the certification itself. So for what period of time is the certification valid, Shanti?
There is I didn't get the question right.
So does the certification expire after a year or 2 years, or does it have no expiration?
No expiration.
All right, wonderful, Shanti. Thanks for answering that. We do have some questions in the Q&A panel. Let me know. All right, Sabin, I'll turn it over to you this time around. So since you mentioned, Bennett, and Shanti's mentioned as well, is the benefits of giving this examination and the support that your organization gives. How does it help in the compensation part? Does it have any effect? Or it's too early at this point in time?
I don't think any certification would actually help in your compensation part. It's the skills that you are adding on to, and it's your own, professional and personal growth, if I might say. For that, you are giving any certification. There's no, compensation. Of course, companies invest in their employees. Like my company, they invest in their employees big time. And some we have to invest by our own self. And this time and energy and certification, giving the exam, this is our investment for our own self and our own growth. And definitely this will take you a notch up, and definitely your deliverables would be better after giving this exam, because even if you read one page, you are gaining some knowledge. You're not losing anything. You are definitely gaining some knowledge. And reading the entire BOK and giving the exam, imagine how much knowledge you would gain, and then, and how impactful your deliverables would be.
Correct. Very, very good answer, Sameena. Thanks for that. Bennett, I'll turn the next question over to you. Are there any PDUs or CPEs required to maintain the APMP certification?
Yeah, actually the rule says that there should be 20 credits which we have to maintain, but that you can gain by doing some of the videos out there, the membership videos. So you have to keep your membership renewed every year over year. And thanks to our Indian APMP team, APMP India team, there are a lot of discounts which is available. So being a member from India is cheaper than being a member from US. So a lot of discounts out there for even for writing the exam. There's I'm not sure about the percentage of cost, but all I can say that for membership, I know it is for $50, whereas in US, I think it's around $200 or $250. So that's a good amount of discount which is available over here. And PDUs, yes, you have to maintain by doing some of the videos out there.
All right. So thanks. I think you answered two questions there, because the other question was, is it too expensive to be an APMP member, which you just answered, and especially for newbies and mid-level professionals, because we have to renew a membership each year at a cost. So the answer to that, I think Bennett has already provided it. It depends, right? If you're really looking at it from a very short-term perspective of keeping the certification valid for only a year, that means it's not a career path, or you're not really looking at it from a long-term perspective. The point with the APMP certification is that it is something that you need to renew. Has Bennett also mentioned some amount of Pdus that you need to take up, and it really helps you year on year, right? It helps you in your career path. It helps you in your career progression. It tells the organization that you're really serious about this particular line of business in which you are invested in, right? So if you're just taking up a certification for one particular year for a career change or a job change, then that's a different perspective. But we encourage you to keep the membership alive, to take the benefits of what the APMP as a body also has to offer, right? And whether it is overrated or not, I think we just did cover that in different aspects. Each one of us has seen benefits in their own organizations. Not only have the organizations been supportive of it, the organizations are most respectful of somebody taking up that particular certification, taking the knowledge from that certification towards implementation in the work that they do. So it depends upon person to person, organization to organization, but definitely overrated is a word that I wouldn't use for this particular certification, especially at the cost and the impact that it really has. Right. Do we have any other?
Ashish, just to add that,
sure, Rupesh,
APMP doesn't give certificate. APMP gives certification. That's called foundation certification. So there is a huge difference between a certificate. I mean, you give the exam, take the certificate and go away, right? APMP certification. So even if you go by the definition of certification, is that you receive something, but you have to, I mean, get those skill set, learnings and everything. You have to continue learning, right? So it's the APMP certification is a continuous learning process, right? So you have to understand that you are not getting a certificate. You are, I mean, again, as what Nawaz to ask you, that even if the pricing goes, I mean, say it's a $200, $250 or $300, you are getting an associated with the like-minded people, with the same profession people, right? So probably, I mean, I should not say that, but let's say you go out with a few of the friends, then you spend much more than what you are spending on your membership, right? So do not look through that perspective. Look at like what you can gain, how you can network with your the peers and profession, and what you can learn, or how you can contribute back to the bid and proposal management profession, right?
Absolutely, right. Thanks for that, Rupesh. I think we're close to the 60-minute mark. There's one question which is just turned up from Sony, who's saying that how and whether AI or automation would impact the capture management process on deciding if we can go ahead with the bids based on win rates or previous data. Samvedna seems to be nodding her head and maybe would want to answer that question. I'll read it out again, Samvedna, for you. Whether AI or automation would impact the capture management process on deciding if we can go ahead with the bids based upon win rates or the previous data.
Well, honestly, I have not used any of automation tool as of now. I'm pretty much hands-on proposal and bid manager since past so many years. But I can just imagine what an AI tool can do to capture the history and bring about intelligent data. We call it as intelligent data, from which we can analyze and implement that analysis, that intelligence to our future bids. So definitely an intelligent tool is helpful to bring about an intelligent data, and intelligent data is helpful to analyze our priorities, our strategies. When I say our priorities, our strategies is nothing but our company's priorities, company's strategies, and how do we utilize that intelligent data onto a successful bidding, future bidding. Not every company or every firm bids for every opportunity that comes their way. So from where that intelligence comes. So an AI tool will definitely help in supporting the pre-sales professionals in deciding what to do and what not to do.
Absolutely. But the important point is one needs historical data.
Correct. That's
correct. No other AI tool or any ML tool will really work if there's no data available. Right. So good question on that. All that AI tool will give Sony, I think that's your question, the probabilities, right? The probability of win or loss, and that can help to decide a go, no go decision by the organization, right? Okay, I think we'll take up one last question itself, which is from Sai, right? Would this certification help me in shifting my career, right? Bennett, would you like to wrap that up?
Yeah, Ashish. Yes, because you are on the sales side, so this might help you out to shift to your career into a bid and proposal management industry. Because since you are new to it, so you are new when you are being interviewed. So this will really help you out to stand amidst other people who have not done the certification. But of course, you have to do some homework on how this entire proposal process works, so that it will be helpful to clear your certification. So yes, it will help you to shift your career. So,
all right. I think we are on the top of the hour, but probably couple of other questions. Is this certification helpful for managing tenders floated by government or multilateral funded tenders, as the forms provided by the RFP documents are standard? I'll quickly try to answer that, and any one of you all can jump in, Samvedna, Shanti, or Bennett. We just discussed around government proposals. I think we did spend quite a bit time on it. Government proposals are very structured. They are more focused upon one aspect is the completeness of the proposal itself. One is the adherence to the rules and regulations, and then the focus upon the SLAs, as Bennett was rightly mentioning, and then the focus upon the solution itself. What the APMP certification really lends itself towards is the fact that how do you organize yourself and how do you ensure completeness? How do you adhere to the rules or terms and conditions that the particular proposal has really laid it out for, even though they are standard. But I have not seen any government proposal which is absolutely the same, where each government, each federal, state government has different rules and regulations. And it's very important to be organized in response to a government proposal than any enterprise proposal itself, right? How valuable is it to have the APMP Foundation Study Guide? Is it worth to get a printed copy? So there's a person who's once again has a printed copy of it, right? So Samvedna, why don't you go ahead and answer that?
It was long time back, and I said I suffer from OCD, and I even there was a time when I used to print RFP documents as well and read it through. But gone are the days. You can if you are a member of APMP, you can access the APMP BOK online, and it is like on the go. You can access it from anywhere, from any of your mobile or iPad or laptops, and it's easily accessible. So it's online copies are good enough to read in today's world. It's not necessary to have a hard copy.
Wonderful. Thanks for that, Samvedna. Thanks, Shanti. Thanks, Bennett. Rupesh, I'll hand it over to you. I think we've had a full 60 minutes of a healthy discussion. Hopefully, we've covered all the questions. If there are any questions, turn it over to us, Rupesh, if there are any unanswered questions. But I think I did a double check. We've pretty much covered all the questions that came in the Q&A section, as well as the chat windows as well. It's been a great session learning from each one of you, Samvedna, Shanti, Bennett, about your experience of giving the APMP certification, your journey towards that, the preparation that was really required, the practical impact rather it has had on your careers and your current roles as well, and how your organizations have been supportive of it. Right. So thank you very much for these insights. I'm sure any aspiring candidate for the Foundation Certificate will find a lot of knowledge in this particular webinar, and can really refer to it while preparing for his or her certification. So thanks once again, Shanti, thanks Bennett, thanks Samvedna, and Rupesh, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. It was an amazing session. Probably we should go for a next practitioner, or you can even crack practitioner certification, or probably professional certification. That would be great. I think there is at least one question left from Ganapati. He's asking like how you can prepare for foundation certification. I mean, he's asking like, in order to prepare for foundation certification, how important is to read the proposal guide? Will BOK or writing business proposals from dummies by Neil Cobb suffice? That's the last question we are taking up.
Right, Bennett, you want to take that up?
Yeah.
From the preparation perspective? Yeah.
So BOK will be really helpful. And Neil Cobb is the founder of our Proposal Center. So, I mean, it'll just go hand in hand. So you can go ahead with BOK.
Great.
All right. Awesome. Thanks everyone once again. And Rupesh, you may have the concluding statement and close the session.
Yeah, so thank you all for joining this session, and I hope we had a good turnout. And so we'll see you. And I just wanted to inform you all that we are having BPC Asia, Bid and Proposal Con Asia. So it's on the line of similar to US and Europe. So, and this will be happening on 15th and 16th September in Mumbai, Hotel Novotel. So you should all join and let's meet together finally. Yeah, thank you all.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day ahead.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.